We love fabric. We love the feel, we love the colors, we love the prints. You might have dreamt of designing your own fabric line, but have you ever dreamt of becoming a manufacturer? Today's guest, Pat Bravo, and her husband did just that. Art Gallery Fabric started just over 20 years ago, bringing chic and modern fabrics into the quilting world, and she's going to tell us all about it. So grab your sewing and a cup of tea, and here's my interview with Pat Bravo. Welcome, Pat, to the show. Whereabouts in the world are you coming to us from?
I was born in Argentina in 1961, when it was a different world. I soon, at my early age, I started going to a school that my mother sent me, and it was a home economic school. So there I started to do cross stitching at 7 years old, and I started sewing at 9 years old. And even though, if I wouldn't be going to that school, I think I have this in my veins. So I started sewing at a very early age. And in my country, people sew a lot. And there was a time when you went to the seamstress with your cut of fabric and says, make me a dress. So I live when I was very, very young, that age of my mother, especially.
So whereabouts in the world are you right now?
I live in Miami currently. I moved here to the US around 35 years ago. Actually moved in 1989. And the first 14 years, I live in New York, in Long Island. And then we moved to Florida. Around 22 years that I'm living here. Yeah, more or less.
So Art Gallery Fabric started in 2004?
Yes, correct.
How did you even get the idea to start a fabric company? It sounds like a colossal undertaking.
Absolutely. It was something that it gave me a lot of joy, especially with the ups and downs. Everything that in life is worth it. It takes sacrifice. So when I moved here to the US, I discovered quilting. Went to a Joann one day and I discovered all the quilts hanging. And the moment I saw them, I was instantly captivated by the shapes and the lights and darks. Amazing. And then I asked a salesperson, what is this? This is quilting. I want to do this. So she took me to an aisle. She grabbed like a ruler, a rotary cutter, a mat, and a book. And there I started. So, from there, I started practicing, learning, making mistakes. There is no school to learn quilting. So everybody learns on their own. And I did the same thing, making a lot of mistakes. And then after a while, I went through so much of traditional quilting that I started experiment with art quilting because, also it was an area of the quilting industry that I really, really like very much. Art, paintings and all that. And when I saw some art quilts, I said, but these people are painting, but with fabric. At that moment, it was 1997, 1996. The only fabrics available to do, art quilts were kind of batiky marble fabrics. So you can get some leaves and some rocks, all those colors. And the colors were very limited. So I went back to Joann's. And says, listen, do you have any books that teach, fabric painting or fabric dyeing? And he says, yes, I have a couple. So I bought them and I went to a place to prepare for dye fabrics, which is something different than the regular base cotton because the colors come out much, much brighter. It has to be a fabric that is prepared for dyeing or for painting. So I started painting. When I moved to Miami, I started joining the guild here, the Ocean Waves Guild in Miami. And people were crazy. All the women, they were crazy. They loved the colors. And I started painting and, experimenting with different techniques. So they says, can you paint for me? And I said, yeah. I started painting, and some women, they advised me to go to a show to sell because they're unique pieces. This is how I started to go to local shows. And then I crossed the state and I went to other state shows and I started selling. And then I was crazy. In that moment, Karen, my dream was to go to Houston to Quilt Festival. And I was convincing my husband, I said, you have to accompany me. You have to come with me to see what it is. Because at that moment, my husband has his own job. He was seeing this as, a kind of a hobby for me. So he accompanied me. And when he saw that floor, it was packed. It was packed. He says, what is this? Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. What is this all people doing? And the people were, going after the fabrics and the rulers and the threads. And I mean, Quilt Festival is an amazing experience. So, it says, we should vend here. I'm going to help you. So I started vending at Quilt Festival. I made a booth in my house for the application. I show pictures, everything. They accepted me. And so I started vending in Quilt Festival. It was at that moment that famous art quilters started ordering me. For example, they wanted 20 skin different colors for, let's say, a quilt of a dog or, or a person. So I started painting in ranges of colors. So it was famous or more popular, let's say, and the people were, and it was a moment, Karen, that I couldn't do it anymore because I was almost 24 hours painting. I always tell the case that in one show I sold 1,000 pieces, 1,000 fat quarters, with all the paintings that I was doing. This is how I started because I started stamping also with some motifs. So people like to buy these fat quarters and then they order me half yards and then they wanted to order me, 1 yard pieces. And fabric painting is different than fabric dyeing because I was doing fabric painting. And fabric painting, you need to let the fabric rest quiet until, it dries and then you have to set it with heat. My husband, I think he saw the opportunity. I said, listen, we should do this commercially. Your designs, the people love it. And this is how we started. We started in 2004 with one collection of 3 fabrics, one print in 3 colors. It was the Oriental. It was one of my most sold out fat quarter designs. We digitalized and we started commercializing that. And this is how I started.
An amazing story. So yeah. Your husband, how long did it take for him to come full-time into your business?
You're going to be hearing something that you won't believe. Do you want to work with your husband and found a company? And I said, yes, because my husband is an entrepreneur. He was an entrepreneur before in New York. He had a company of leather jackets and garments and jeans and T-shirts. And he was commercializing all these garments overseas. So he got all the people, the correct people that could help me, make this available. I have one leg of the equation, I have the design, the colors and everything, and he had the other side. So let's say, to answer your question, around 6 months after he sold the company, he said, okay, let's do this together. And so far, we're becoming 20 years old.
Congratulations. My husband and I were in business together too. And we found the success of it was that both of us had very separate jobs. And I've talked to other people in the quilting industry, like Kimberly Jolly from Fat Quarter Shop. She and her husband, separate jobs, separate areas they're responsible for. And frankly, even then, you don't see very much of them because you're so busy doing what you need to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It was a moment after a few years that I met Joe Packman from Where Women Create. And he says, listen, I have to have this story out in the magazine. Husband and wife, working and getting along well. And I said, yeah, we never fight. And what is the secret? If you read that interview in the magazine, it says, what is the secret? And for me, one of the secrets is that we respect each other's role. So he knows about business and commercing, and I know about design and about quilting and about what people love, because I am a one quilter. I was on both sides of the counter, let's say, if I may say that. I was a quilter, and I was to a shop to buy fabrics, and then now I design, and I have to put my designs in front of the people. So every time a consumer, a quilter, goes to a shop and buy one of our fabrics, is like a validation of that vision that I may have. So,
well, it's interesting that you've mentioned color, because color is the thing that pulls me to art gallery fabrics. There's just an intensity to the color. They're bright, but they're not the brightest hue. They're just a little bit toned down, but they have so much depth and beauty to them.
I studied in Argentina early on when I was young. I went to an art school and I studied color theory. And it was a short course, around 6 months. But it taught me that people see color in the first less than a second. The first thing that people see, other than shapes, is color. And for me, the colors in quilting, I don't know, maybe other people have other opinions, and that's fine. But for me, quilting is a heirloom activity or hobby or art. So for me, the colors shouldn't be the purest hues, because when you see it, you're seeing something that is not real. And the appearance of a quilt that people have in their mind is not something with a super huge bright red or a pungent lemon yellow. So that's why, in my view, I choose all colors, but a little bit toned down to give that aspect of heirloom that is so important, not only in somebody's eyes, but in their feelings. When you see a quilt, what brings to your soul? Where does it transport you? Or memories do you have of that? So for me, color is it's the most important thing, even more than design. Also, I read a very, very important book from Kandinsky, and the theory of he has of colors, and the colors vibrate in my chest. And red doesn't vibrate the same way as blue, and it doesn't vibrate the same thing. It's a super interesting book. And again, quilting that has that heirloom quality that it brings you memories. So, well, this is how I see it, at least.
So now, how many people do you employ? I saw that amazing video that you posted on YouTube with it looked like a drone going through your factory. That was so cool. You've got a pretty big staff there now.
Yeah, about 35 families that depend on me and water, that we do our things correctly. So yeah, it's pretty big. And they're all our employees is a family-owned business. So it's not a corporation. So we consider our company a family, and every employee that comes to work with us, they consider the company part of the family. So yeah, it's a lot of people and a lot of responsibility for me. I always have to bring them something that says, listen, if we do pretty fabrics, we are going to be doing all well. And it says, hey, Pat, show me. And they're always interested. It's not the part of, they don't do mechanical work. They live the experience of being part of our gallery.
You used to design all the lines yourself, but now you're taking in outside designers. So what is the proportion that's still in-house versus designers?
Well, I started designing 2004, and then 2005, I started designing my first collection. 2009, 2010, Barry J became our first licensed designer, which is my friend, considered still my friend. We have been friends for years before she joined our house. And then we have around 11 designers now. And we're coming up with, let's say, 2 collections per season that are in-house. So it's around almost 20% of is in-house, but the rest is by licensed designers.
Now, before we even started talking today, you just mentioned that you're now working on 2026. It must be challenging to be selling something now, but to be You've got something that on the water coming towards you. You've got another collection in production, and then you're working with designers to make the next collection. How many do you work on at once? Is it 5? Is it 6?
Now, at this moment, we are producing 3 seasons a year. Every season, it has around 10 to 12 collections per season. So it's a period of 4 months. And we reveal the season, but at the same time, for example, now in our social media, we are revealing the current season for 2025, but we are designing, envisioning collections for 2026. So it's around 10 to 12 per season. We're going to be incorporating more and more as we're having more and more demand on collections and different topics or different themes.
So whereabouts is your fabric produced?
3 different countries are produced in South Korea, but some of the fabrics are produced in India, and some of the fabrics are produced in Pakistan.
Pakistan's always tricky because they're not as, for lack of a better word, organized. I guess it's consistency.
Yes. In reality, yeah, that's my husband part of the job, that he deals with the mills in Pakistan. They're not the same as in India. They're more disorganized. That's 100% correct. They produce many fabrics, but India is showing much more capability and organization and respectability regarding business. We demand a lot because we're very serious in this business. And when we say this collection, shipping this month, is shipping this month, even if we have to bring it by air. That's our compromise to the consumers, or the shops and the consumers. So we demand the same thing from the mills. You have to work with honesty, decency, and a sense of business and urgency. People, they need to get it. They need to, if they bought it, we cannot say, oh, okay, so it got delayed, you have to wait 6 months more. No, this is not happening with us. India is showing desire to please the US consumers.
So COVID interrupted all our fabric companies so badly. Like at first, I guess there was the hyper demand for fabric, and then there was no fabric available, and then everything caught up. How have you changed the way that you're doing business now because of it?
What a challenging question. On my side, on the creative department, I have around 15 women working in different departments. We have the production department, we have the graphic design department, we have the marketing department, and we have the textile design department. So everybody had to go home. So they actually packed all the computers, they took it with them. And in the beginning, we didn't know what to do. But one thing that Florida, or the Florida laws, allow us, it was to keep working. But they have certain specifications about the distance that the employees in the warehouse have to be. So we kept shipping the entire time of the pandemic. The design, the photography, the lookbooks that we produce for consumers, and everything that was halted. So we started imagining ways to actually, do something. So for example, with one employee went to the company, she was alone. She went there, she took pictures, she went with a mask, process that pictures so we can continue showing in social media, because, the collections keep rolling and keep coming, and you have to do it. But this estate, amazingly, they give us clear guidelines how you have to work. So we allow very few employees at the time in the warehouse. We continue shipping. And the amazing success, Karen, that happened during the pandemic is the sales skyrocketed because people start staying home and they start sewing. And also because we work with a different system than the majority of fabric manufacturers, we have inventory. So we have huge inventory. We have around 7,000 SKUs in inventory now. So other companies have sold the inventory. We have the inventory. So people pick up the phone and said, I need fabric because my shop ran out of fabric. So we continue shipping. and shipping and shipping. So it was a kind of a sweet and sour aspect. My area of the business, suffered a lot until we accommodated ourselves and figured out ways. We started introducing the mock-ups, the famous mock-ups for fabrics, mock-ups for quilts. We made a special treatment in Photoshop that the illustrator design file. It looks like it was a quilt, more or less. So we have to work in very ingenious ways, but it was a very challenging time. Yeah, for sure.
Well, you've touched upon something there, and that is your lookbooks. Your lookbooks are amazing. They are just like eye candy. The photographs are so beautiful. The colors are so beautiful. The layouts are nice. Plus, you have all this interactive free patterns and free material lists and things like that. That must be an awful lot of time and effort.
It's a lot of work, Karen. You know that. You are in YouTube, you have your social media, you have to take pictures, and it takes time. It takes time. So again, we are coming around 2 to 3 collections per month. So we have 2 to 3 lookbooks per month to make. Yeah, but my concept is this. We cannot sell to the consumer because we are wholesalers. So the best way to help shops is to bring the fabric so much close to the consumer, staying home, the consumer that is not going to the shop anymore. Because the way that commerce is done in America has changed dramatically. So I said, we need to develop a lifestyle digital magazine to show how this collection particularly is going to look in bags, in quilts, in table runners. So we try to portray, we have 5 categories for each lookbook. We have accessories, we have garments, we have blocks, we have home decor, and then we have quilts. And we try to showcase the best of each particular design in each of the collections, what is suitable for. Because, when you see something, this is what you get. So many people don't have that huge imagination to go and buy fabrics and say, what should I do with this? So they see. So we try to help the shops achieve that goal with the consumer, showcasing a lookbook per collection, which is a lot of work. Don't get me wrong. So I have a team of seamstress working, that they saw. And then combined with a team of, we call them makers and pattern makers, that they help us. They like to be featured in the lookbooks, and we provide them the links to go and buy their patterns. Sometimes they're pattern designers, sometimes they're makers, and they enjoy participating on the lookbook. They don't have a link, but the fact of us mentioning and giving the proper credit that everybody deserves, they love to work with us. So I have one person that is in charge of the whole entire lookbook. And then from there, she started organizing, what are we going to do? What's this collection suitable for? So we analyze every aspect. So I have meetings all day, all the time, from morning to evening. So yeah, it's something that I feel passionate about. Lookbooks, I love lookbooks, because when I buy something, I like to see how it's going to look in real size, like that. So it's like I enjoy very much doing the lookbooks. And yeah, we provide some free patterns. Some of the patterns by pattern makers are paid. The person who clicks in and wants to do that pattern with the fabrics, they can click. And we started now adding kits. For example, the first one that we add, it was from Sharon Holland, from her collection Potter Chair. She designed an exclusive quilt design, and Art Gallery Fabric distributes that as a kit. So we put it in the lookbook, and we have many shops happy, because now we are including a list of shops where people can buy the kits, where can buy the fabrics. I enjoy very much doing the lookbook. It's very fun.
Now, you also have some very innovative ideas that I don't see coming from other fabric manufacturers. You've got these wonderful curated bundles. where you bring in fabrics from multiple lines and coordinate them. That's a fabulous idea. How long have you been doing that?
Thank you. We were doing that for a few years. Again, we come back to the beginning. Quilting evokes your feelings, evokes memories, evokes happy moments. So for me, everything is about what you feel, what your heart feels when you see a bundle of fabrics put together. So I started developing, and also the names are very important. You know, what fabrics do you put together is very important. So people, sometimes they don't know, when they go to a fabric shop, they don't know how to actually put a group of fabrics together unless they buy a specific collection, because it's put it for you. But if they want to choose, they don't know how. So we try to solve also that consumer dilemma sometimes that they have, and put bundles of fabrics together that we have the bundle apps with different themes, floralist, geometrics, bold and soft and romantic. And because when I used to quilt, I see, and the first thing is what my soul and my heart is telling me is for spring, and this is for fall, and I feel more surrounded, and the colors are more spicy. So for me, all that is very, very important in order to put the bundles together. So we have been doing this for a while.
And the other product is your pre-made, well, they're not really pre-made, but let's say
Reprinted.
script binding.
Yeah. This is another thing that I also wanted to go after, you know, because I used to bind my quilts, and I know millions of women are binding their quilts, and the binding in some aspects have become boring because you choose the fabric, but that's it. So I said, what can I do to make it more unique and more special? And let's face it, binding is the least favorite thing that a quilter do. You know, the majority of the women, they don't want to do binding. But as I have to make this fun. I started doing prototypes, and I started developing different designs. So when I fold, and I apply it from one way, when you fold it, you have one design in the front and one design in the back. So we started coming up with this 18 or 19 in the beginning. It was the initial series that we launched, but then it became part of the fabric collection from each designer. So now each collection, from Sharon, from Amy Sinibaldi, from Maureen Cracknell, from Susie Quilts, it has their own pre-made, you know, design for that. So it's something that people, maybe not many people know about. We have been doing so many videos and social media publications and all that. So we hope more and more people are getting to know your binding fabric problem are resolved for you. So it's very fun. I have some of them here. You have some designs that are three. For example, like this one, you have this is front and back, and then you have another two that is front and back. And then you have some others that are 4 designs, 2 on each side. And then you have some other SKUs that just only 2 designs. You know, you can do 1 or 2, but they wrap around. So you choose. Again, our motto for the 2.5 is binding is fun again.
Does your fabric come into your facility in the big rolls and you cut it down where you are?
We receive fabrics in roll because we sell to manufacturers as well. We don't sell only to fabric shops, and we receive them in bolts in different lengths, 10 yards, 7.5 yards, 15 yards. All the bundles are pre-packed, also in Korea. The fabric wonders, they are our pre-cuts. And now I'm announcing that we are coming up with the strip rolls, which is the usual rolls, 2.5 inches with all the SKUs of the collection. So everything is pre-packed, cut and pre-packed in South Korea.
So do you have to do a lot of travel for business?
Yes, I do. I do travel basically for inspiration. My travel is different than Walter's travel. Walter traveled to, the business part. So he traveled to the East. But I travel to mostly to get inspiration. And I travel many, many places several times to get inspiration.
So do you have any other family members in your business?
Yes, I have my son, Alex, who is 35 years old. He started working when he was 20. He was working and study. He has a business administration and international commerce. He studied those two careers, and then he started joining the business. And lately, a few years ago, my sister started working, Andrea. So we are the four of us with our family, which is all the employees that we have.
When did you make the decision to use that beautiful light greige good of the beautiful light cotton? It's almost like Liberty's Tanalon.
Yes, from the beginning. That was a decision from the beginning. When we decided with Walter to start this business, I said, okay, listen, I've been buying fabrics, and I know what fabrics are. If I want to start selling my own fabrics, it's going to be different. It has to be a different fabrics. So he started bringing some samples of different cottons in different weaves and different weights. Also, very important, the weight of the square meter, the fabric. So I started testing, sewing, washing, ironing, dryer, everything. I mistreat all those fabrics the worst I could. I saw a different stitch length. I top stitch. I applique. I did every single test that it could be possible. And then one time I remember they sent me a sample of an uneven weave, because usually most of the cottons, the base cottons, are 60 by 60, the construction. So ours is 133 by 72. It's a much finer thread. So is double comb is woven in a way that you touch and it looks like silk, because this is the comment that people make. Is the silk? No, it's 100% cotton. It's a premium cotton. And because of that weave construction allows you the fabric has some drape. So that's why it became so popular with sewists, because they can make dresses and the fabric fall and it has a beautiful drape because it has an uneven. When you have something even in the fabric, the tendency is to stay more static. Our fabrics are 133 by 72, so it's a different weave. And when I had that, I said, this is it. This is the fabric that we're going to be commercializing. When we started, we have to propose something, different. Quality is our number one. And you can buy 1 yard of fabric now, and you can have one fabric from us. 15 years ago, you're going to touch it. It's going to be exactly the same.
You have some of the most beautiful selvages in the business. Now, I'm not normally a selvage person, but I do just have a moment with yours. They're just so beautiful. Have they always been big, or is that just something you've started putting a lot of effort into?
What do you feel when you see the selvages? You see, this is what I mean. You have to feel something. It has to make you feel something pretty or nice, or feel so comfortable. I have an amazing team of graphic designers, and my right hand in the company, Angie, is the brain behind all that, together with me. But she developed one of the most exquisite graphics that you can have. Our website, the way our photos are taken, zero pixelation, the way we present things. We do this on purpose so we can make the quilter feel like we're serious. We do things in a very nice way. The selvages are pretty fun also, right?
Well, they're almost too pretty to cut. Well, thank you so much for your time today. We have talked about so many different things. If people want to see art gallery and what the current fabrics are and take a look at those wonderful lookbooks, how do they find you?
Okay, they can go to www.artgalleryfabrics.com. That's going to take you to a homepage that you can choose. If you're a shop, you're going to click on the wholesale. If you're a consumer, you can click the consumer website, and it's going to transport you to our world. You know, the lookbooks are incorporated in each page of the collections. You have those swatches, you have the free patterns, you have a gallery of photos that we take for each collection that is going to inspire you. And then you can go on Instagram. Our handle is Art Gallery Fabrics. Then you can find it there. You can find us in Pinterest. We are very active in Pinterest and Facebook.
Thank you very much for being on the show today. I really appreciate all your time and sharing your story.
Thank you so much, Karen. Thank you, everybody, for being watching. And I hope you can go to the shops and buy a little piece of Art Gallery Fabrics and start enjoying the most beautiful fabric on your own.
I hope you've enjoyed my interview with Pat Bravo. I love that the AGF fabrics are available for so long, and they feel so silky. I love putting them into my quilts. If you are interested in any of the Art Gallery lookbooks or fabrics, I will leave a link in the video notes below, as well as their contact information and their social media links. Next time you're in your sewing room, be sure to have Karen's Quilt Circle playing in the background. I have interviewed so many amazing people on this show. Let one inspire you. Take care, and I'll see you next time.